If I'm going to do my bio, let's go back to the beginning. That's the proper place. 1950, Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. I'm 6 years old, and my life is really beginning. I live on 5th Avenue in a railroad type apartment over a carpet store between 72nd Street and Ovington Avenue. And let me tell you, we have everything there. I mean, within a block. Well, first of all, I go to school right up on 6th Avenue and 72nd Street, so I don't need anybody to take me there. There's no school buses at the time. Just walk across one street where the guard is, and went every day by myself. There's 2 ice cream parlors. There's a great movie theater, the Alpine, the Lowe's Alpine. My church and Sunday schools down on 4th Avenue and 75th Street, Good Shepherd. Right across the street on 4th Avenue, same side, is a very large Catholic church. And I went to the Cub Scouts on 4th Avenue and Ovington. Sounds like a nice little cute life, right? Well, that's not really the whole story. Every block also had its own gang. Oh yeah, 72nd Street gang, 73rd Street gang. We all fought amongst each other. It was mainly an Irish and Scandinavian spot where everybody just loved to rough it up. And well, we mainly used our hands, but we also made these carpet guns. You know, that's like a 2x4, and you would put a rubber band, and you would get carpet from the carpet store and cut it into squares, and you would shoot it. It was actually pretty dangerous. I mean, you could get hurt with that. And I myself, I love to fight. Love to fight, and I did very well for myself. Not to brag or anything like that, but I never lost one. And that's for real. I had 2 very good friends that were quite different, except they were both Irish. Peter Thomas and Peter Keane. Now, Peter Thomas was a real street thug type kid. Pretty tough, but watched himself. Peter Keane, on the other end, was a bright guy, came from good stock family background, did well in school, tough as nails. Tough as nails. I think, as a matter of fact, that he ended up as some kind of big shot out on the West Coast, California, whether it was in law or politics or whatever. Peter Thomas, a different story. He's no longer with us and hasn't been for a long time. But we used to do things like rob the ice cream parlors, the tips off the tables, parking meters once they came. Going way back to 6 years old, we still had the trolley on 5th Avenue. Great little thing, the trolley. Forgetting that we had about 3 different bars on every block, and my father unfortunately hung out in one right on 72nd Street and 5th Avenue, and let me tell you, he had a heavy hand. And those years, those early years up until I was 10 years old, he used it on me quite often, because he just spotted so many different things I was doing. Half the time I didn't have the brains to say, oh, he's sitting right in the bar looking at me, when I'd set a fire to the waste paper thing right outside on the corner, all kinds of dumb things. And we did the regular things, you know, we played Johnny on the pony, and I was really good at that, you know. That's where everybody jumps on your back to see if they can break the line. Nobody ever broke me down, let me tell you. And when I came and jumped, I came down heavy. And stickball and handball and pitching coins and flipping cards, baseball cards was the big thing, and all the regular things. It was like the Bowery Boys. It was actually a great childhood when I look back. And then I would sneak off to Staten Island constantly. The 5th Avenue, well, it wasn't the 5th Avenue, it was the 69th Street ferry. And my mother would call the cops. I mean, how many times she just panicked. She couldn't find me the whole day. I went down there for 5 cents. I took the ferry all by myself over to Staten Island. Within a short walk, they had the St. George swimming pool. It was 3 different pools with locker rooms. I would go there, and they had high boards, and and I would come home, and wow, my father would be there with that heavy hand. I think this had something to do with the way I fought. I mean, I was like a wild man, and it was kind of that I never talked back to my father. When he would whack me, what really aggravated it, I would never cry, I would never budge. I would stand there and take it and just stare right in his eyes, and he couldn't get even an expression out of me no matter what. I mean, the blood could be coming down my mouth, it made no difference. Never shed a tear, and I never backed off. And that had to do with me taking it out on other people. But that's basically my life. That's basically my life between 6 and 10, except that I started bowling when I was 9 or almost 10. I forgot to mention Ovington. Besides the pizza places we had there, and the ice cream parlors and the movie theaters and every kind of store, a 5 and 10 cent store that we lived off of. Yeah, shoplifting. It's a terrible thing, but my father caught me even that, because he worked on a bank in the corner. But bowling, the Ovington Lanes, what a phenomenal place. I mean, two floors of bowling alleys. The main one and downstairs, they had like 10 lanes on each. Then they had a great lunch counter type cafeteria, or whatever you want to call it, restaurant, great hamburgers, so on and so forth, and a great pool room upstairs. Of course, I wasn't allowed up there at the time, and not even in the bowling alley. Except when I became almost 10, my father, because he knew the owner so well, started to let me bowl, even though you had to be 16 technically, and I could practice all I wanted every day after school, and I really got good. But we're going to go into that later, because I already did a whole complete bio on my action bowling days, 40 chapters, so you can read about that. Well, I think that's it for now. That's the beginning, and we moved to the country. We moved to Bensonhurst, but that's the next thing we're going to talk about.